Welcome to Spiritual and Sassy, the podcast where we bleed deep soul wisdom with authentic confidence.
We're your host,
Tressa
and Myra, and together we'll explore the mystical side of life, challenge societal norms and programming, and embrace our inner power.
Whether you're on a spiritual journey or just love a little sass, this space is for you.
Let's dive in and light up the world with a little more love.
I love how when it hits one, we both just laugh every time.
Well, I was
Why?
laughing at myself because I look creepy. I'm like,
I look creepy.
it was just like this horribly weird. I'm just going to smile until this starts, I don't know.
I know some of when we're doing edits or whatever, and some of the thumbnails, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting picture.
Oh my!
The way it captures our faces.
Yes, and I try so hard to not let it land on that when it gets posted. If I can,
I do too. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to use that.
I'm like, how do I? Yeah, there is a lot of thought that goes into the thumbnail, people, more than you'll ever know, because it's rough. And I love the platform we use. So shout out again to Riverside. Their AI features are so cool. It removes fluff, and it's really neat. When I first started using that to edit our episodes, and the AI's become more and more advanced as we started. It wasn't there are new features even in the last several months. But one of them was the finding the fluff, and now we have it gets rid of filler words, the ums and the ands. So we say that a lot more, than we would like to admit. But one was staying on topic. In the last two episodes, it couldn't find us not staying on topic. So AI thinks we are in sync.
We're on topic.
We are on topic.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's only chief
editor. It's me. That's actually funny story.
Chief of this.
Technically, my second half of my title in my new role, I'm an editor. So I'm editor in chief for the editorial side. So here I am, editor-in-chief over here also, I guess. I must be destined to edit.
I'm all proud of myself because I can do our little magic clips now. That's all I can figure out.
It is so amazing. Again, shout out to Riverside. I have one complaint, but I won't air my grievances out publicly for Riverside because it's the good outweighs the bad. But it's pretty amazing. And the magic clips, they work so well. I do wish that there were a little more connected to different platforms. That's not the grievance though.
Yeah.
But either way, it's amazing. And the way that you can do the magic clips, anyone can do it, once you've got it, you've got it. You just can fix the sound a little bit and play around with it and boom, you got it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's
Sorry
really cool.
about that. My dog just walked across the laminate floor. If you heard little,
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh gosh, it was so
didn't.
loud in my ear. I was like, oh
no. Again, these headphones, I can hear Nola, she's over here right beside me, and she's
it was like, oh my god, it was amplified. Lewis walked across the floor, and I'm like,
oh my gosh, it does it. Or I can hear someone open a fridge.
Yeah,
and I never heard anyone open a fridge.
This gives us bionic hearing.
Yeah, it's shit. I feel like I'm a FBI, listening in. I should take these. This would have been awesome in high school when I was stalking people, or
when I was stalking people.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
I wonder what they're saying about me.
Are they talking about me?
Yeah, or does he like me? This would have been perfect. Crashing a party with these on.
Yeah, except for somebody be like, why do you have headphones on?
Yeah, they're what the fuck's wrong with you?
You nerd.
Yeah, it had made things worse. They'd have been like, okay, we don't know her.
Not know.
Yeah, it's just best.
Well, we're coming at you tonight from Sunday night, 7:00 at my time. You're 9:00. Yeah, it's a late one for us.
We're the late night with Myra and Tressa.
Coming at you.
Yeah, coming at you.
Late night.
I'm in a sweatshirt.
So hot I had to put on a tank top.
Oh my gosh.
Dying.
It's been blazing, and the 4th doesn't help. And then I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I don't even know. There's I don't know. I'm either an all or nothing girl. I'm either doing nothing, absolutely nothing. It's 405,061 things at once.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to not do that, I guess. But I think I'm partied out, man. We went from the grad party to a baby shower to Blake's birthday party, the 4th, and a 4th party. I looked at my family this weekend and I said, this is it. Don't call me for a while.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
I
done
can't.
seeing you people.
Yeah, I'm really done. I'm done on my peopling. Like, I love people, but I'm peopled out.
I get
So,
that.
and the
I
heat don't
went,
help.
yeah, yeah. I went shopping with Kathy today, one of my best friend forever.
Ooh,
And
Kathy.
we do our little birthday trip. And her daughter Marty had texted her. We were at lunch and said, this is like the first day in forever that I haven't had a barbecue to go to. She's like, I'm so excited.
Oh my
Gonna
gosh.
stay home.
Yeah, I don't want to eat the food anymore. I'm done.
Yeah,
Like, I don't even want to look at a hamburger.
yeah.
Don't call. I don't even eat potato
No hot
chips regularly
dogs.
either.
No.
Yeah, I'm like, don't even, don't even look at the. I'm done. Cake. I'm caked out. Like, I love cake, and I'm done. Like, I'm
Yeah.
good. No more cake. No more buns. Nothing. I want to eat like sushi. I don't know. Give me something different. I need to like palate cleanse with my
Yeah,
sushi.
I get that. Maybe a little. I thought, oh man, going into Monday, maybe I'll do a fast because it just feels like all I've done is eat.
Yeah, before this, Blake was chat GBTing his workout plan.
Huh?
Just awesome. I mean, listen, and I love it because like Tressa and I feel like we're blessed, hashtag blessed, with being informed first about the AI movement. And, like in that room, we were like, oh, cool, okay, we'll figure out how this works, for work. And people like look at me in my personal life like, oh yeah, you use AI. So okay. And then I'm learning how they use AI and
Uh-huh.
they like meal plan with AI and they
Yeah.
do all these really cool things, but I do so much. I mean, I don't even Google anything anymore. But it's just funny, like how we were in that moment together,
Yeah.
where it's like AI or nothing, and now it's totally expanded, and
I never thought
it's
about
not
using
just
it
with
to
work.
create workouts and meal plans, though.
Me either, but that's what normal people use it for.
Yeah,
I use it
okay.
for like spreadsheets and
Yeah,
freaking Q4
me
planning.
too.
Like I'm over here only using the business side.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I got a
I
good
never thought
friend
about
who's
it.
like, he's literally lost him. He wanted to cut and build muscle. He did it all with ChatGPT. It told him he put in exactly what he wanted to do, his height, everything. And it popped out a meal plan. It popped out options. It popped out workouts. It popped out like, do it this, do it this. And it's worked. He's like, literally, I live by, he loves it. Like he just loves it. And he
That's
was using
awesome.
it the other day. Yeah, because he's very deep and emotional person. But he couldn't think of the word to use and ChatGPT helped him like collect the thought. And so he's like loving it. And it's just so fun to see like
Yeah,
other people, the normal people use ChatGPT.
yeah. For
Meanwhile, I'm
everyday
over
things.
here, yeah, like freaking planning out content. You know what I mean? I'm using it
Yeah,
for that shit, the boring stuff, and they're using it like, what did it work smarter, not harder? Like I was
yeah.
like,
Work
dang,
smarter, not harder.
I never thought
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. I love it.
So if you take anything away from the podcast, you can meal plan and make a workout with
I'm
ChatGPT.
seriously going to use it for meal planning.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I can, if you have any questions, I've been
Okay.
figuring out how to prompt it.
Okay.
So, but anywho,
Awesome. Well, that's not what we're talking about tonight, but
no,
it was a great little chat.
your Sunday facts.
Yeah, Sunday facts. How to use ChatGPT. So today, I think we're going to talk about judgment and split energy.
Yeah.
So I brought up the subject of judgment to Myra when we got on the call tonight. And it's just been something over the last week that I've really recognized. God, I still have a lot of work to do. And it really pisses me off because I've been working on judgment for forever. Like forever, it feels like. And yet I still find myself in that energy of judgment. We went to see my husband's grandmother. She's in the nursing home because of her fall. She's 88, broke her femur. And so now she has to do physical therapy every day. And she's just angry. She's ornery. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't feel good. She's 88 years old. Oh, and I can understand it, right? I can understand it and feel empathy towards her. And then all of your power's gone. You can't make any choices really on your own. It's just awful. But as we sat there with her the other day and she just was so ornery, so ornery. When we left, I found myself kind of in a judgment energy around her. And I'm like, that you're judging her for being ornery. And now, you're letting it also it kind of impacted it did impact my mood. It made me a little cranky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so now you're giving your power away. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you are in judgment, then you let her energy impact your energy instead of making sure your energy is in a good place and pushing your energy out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really, it was good that I recognized it, but it was
Mm-hmm.
annoying also. Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I think this is going to be one of the hardest things for me anyway. Maybe it's easy for other people to really recognize that energy of judgment and how often I let other people's moods or their situation guide me, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
impact me. So it was really interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about judgment. That was just one example.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I feel like it's some, especially when it gets intertwined with other people's emotions and other people's energy, we've talked about it before, but this goes back to like, what do we share with others? What does that exchange even look like? And I really feel like this week, a lot of that came up for me, whether it was my own judgment towards others, judgment towards myself, people feeling judged in other ways. And like, we can talk
Mm-hmm.
about that too, but I had an instance where I really wanted to share something that happened to me spiritually with someone that's really close to me. And I really don't like share things with them that much anymore. So I don't even know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I thought,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't even want, I wasn't even seeking anything in return. And I can say that honestly. Like I wasn't looking for validation about the message. I was just like excited. I was excited. I wanted to share. Well, the whole conversation was like, I mean, just like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm like, okay, I've done a lot of healing and I'm really like not even like one, like, I would have normally been more reactive and argumentative. And I'm like, how do I want to even approach this? Like, I could hear it in their tone. I just stopped even telling the story. I mean, it was just so bad. I mean, I just stopped. I didn't even share the full story. I didn't even share the full concept, how I felt about it. And what's really interesting is this particular person, they call me all the time and I'm supposed to just be this like sounding board. Like I just listen and there's no sharing of my life. Like my life doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like they
They just
only,
broadcast.
yes, yes. So here I am sharing
Yes. Uh-huh.
and I'm like, oh, cool. We're in a cool space. They get me. They understand me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, right. So they just start like making fun of it, like right off the bat. But then it was borderline competitive. Like, you don't know anything about spirituality. That sounds really generic. Like they're saying because I've been seeking new body work, and the lady she's an energy practitioner. She focuses in Reiki and past life progressions and all the fun things, right? She's amazing. She's a cool lady. I like her, and we've interacted several times, so I'm learning her dynamic. And as each time that I go, and I'm going to her for body work, but sometimes messages come through, and she's been sharing things with me,
Hmm.
and we chat. We're building a relationship, and I just was sharing it, and yeah, guys, spiritual shit can be a little basic, but okay, like I mean, maybe whatever it is. But then I started like second guessing my own self because like what she said to me
Uh-huh.
resonated with me, and I was ready to talk about it, and I was excited to tell him, and it's about my transformation that I've been going through and these little things. But then it became a competition, and then he started comparing it to taking DMT, which we've talked about before, which is a psychedelic. And I said, he's like, and then he shared a dream he had with me and said, that's a real vision. Okay. So when he started judging me, then I started judging him because he said
Yeah.
he did it based on a drug. And I'm not even against drugs. Hell, I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not even against
Yeah.
psychedelics. Like, that's not an
Yeah.
issue. I don't care. I don't even judge on these things. Like, I don't. Like, I'm not that person. And I started saying, well, you don't understand energy. You don't understand spirituality and depth. And I mean, really, this individual doesn't. And they're coming at it out of ego. They're coming at it. They took a substance, and you can have something come from it, but what was the intention behind the substance? Like they were partying. So then I started like judging that and like repeating that back out. Like it was just an awful, awful, awful exchange. I could even feel myself like I let them and the way they felt towards me impact my mood, my emotion. I totally exchanged my energy with them. I gave a lot of stuff away to them. I let them get me. Then every time I talked to them, anytime this week, they would make fun of the vision and call me like alligator frog lily pad girl, like just horrible, right? And I'm like, fuck, I don't even talk, just don't fucking call me, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, just why do you even want to talk to me at this point? I don't even
Yeah.
know, like I don't even want, like this is just dumb. And anywho, needless to say, like, it was a really big lesson for me this week of, okay, could I have approached that differently? Yes, 100%. Did I allow them to really hit me and trigger something? For sure.
Yeah.
And then why did I let it impact me? And, it was mostly because I was hurt and then I'm like, this is why I don't, like, okay, duh, red flag, like, this is why you don't share things with this person. Like, this isn't what that relationship really is.
Yeah.
And honestly, since that conversation, our relationship's really shifted. And, it's been really interesting because I have no issues, if they want to talk or chat, but I did say that. I said, hey, I stood up for myself and I said, listen, I don't really think this is where we want to go with a conversation like this. I was honest, but I said, everything's not a competition. Like, you can have visions and interpretations, and this person thinks they're God. Okay. Honestly, like, so you can live godlike status with the godlike drug, and that's fine. But I can also enjoy my generic, basic vision signs too. Like, it can mean something for me too.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a level of trust and understanding. These are two different things. It's not a competition, so if you don't want to share, so I went through something like that this week too. And it really kind of put me in a place that I really haven't been in, like I felt my vibration. I felt, we talked about the scale of conscious or the vibrational scale of consciousness. I could feel my energy fucking go, and
down.
They were vibrating low. It was not good. Like, you could feel it. The conversation was like, click, really, honestly, I should have went click. I just should have ended it. So,
yeah, I know. It's crazy how quickly, like, you can let that impact you. And you can, that's how I felt the other day. Then we go to the golf course and it's July 4th. So it's busy and we're backed up, there's just people everywhere. I mean, and so, it was just, my husband was frustrated, or he seemed frustrated, right? My perception of it.
Yeah.
And so then that added to it. And I just, I let all of that bring me down. And there was a point where I was like, okay, this is on you, Tressa. Like, you're choosing to allow this. So get your shit together, girl. Like, if you want to enjoy your day, enjoy your day. Let them bitch, let them moan, let them be whatever, pissed off, whatever they are.
Exactly.
All these other people, that's them issue, and I say that a lot, but yet I let it. That day it was just like, I started to vibrate really low too. And then I recognized the judgment, and then it's like this vicious circle. Well, I just, we talked about that last time, how quickly you can get back on the hamster wheel, and so I was happy though. I did recognize it and I pulled myself out of it to some degree, so I didn't stay bitchy all day, but.
No, I mean, honestly, I wanted to cancel Blake's birthday party.
Yeah.
Like, what did that have to do with that? You know what I mean? And I like looked at Blake and I'm like, I don't even have this party. Like, I don't even want to go do this anymore. And he's like, well, these are
so
two
now my
separate
birthday's
things.
canceled.
Yeah, he's like, I don't really know why I'm impacted by that, but okay, just petty, crazy. And it was all, but I recognized it myself too. You know what I mean? Like, and I obviously didn't cancel the party. Obviously things have moved forward, but it was one of those moments and I started judging them too, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not it. And I really wanted to use very hurtful terms and like, lash out verbally. That was me going to a comfort zone. You know what I mean? That I've really,
you go back into your comfort zone.
Yeah. So I really had to work through that this week myself. It's must be in the air, but I was like, gosh, this is where we're at.
Yeah. It was funny too. I was having a conversation with one of my friends last week and I don't even remember the exact who they were talking about, but they were talking about somebody they knew and they used the term like they're just a drunk, and that triggered me so bad. And then I was like, okay, so then I'm listening to them judge this other person that I don't know. And then I'm judging them for judging the other person. And then I call them out. I'm like, okay, so this is why I don't like those terms. It's so easy for us to harp on somebody who drinks too much or does drugs or whatever. I said, okay, so you eat sugar all the time?
Exactly.
What should I call you? What,
exactly.
Because they've talked to me about that, like how they've tried to get off sugar and, they drink a lot of Red Bull and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yeah, you're right. That's true. But it's
No, yeah,
interesting. I'm like, why is that any different? Every person in this planet has something, some kind of vice,
exactly.
Like today, I mean, we've been talking about consumption,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like things, and I've shared about cleaning my closet and stuff. And then what did I do today? Okay, I went down to Utah and went shopping, bought 2 pairs of shoes. Like I need a pair of shoes, but I don't. But that's one of the things that I use all the time. Get little
Mm-hmm.
dopamine hits out of it, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah, I agree. And something that I've like really, the way I use it, because especially with family members, and there's a lot of generational things or the religious background and just
mhm.
programming, societal programming, religious programming, you name it. And I really I've explained it as everything isn't black and white.
Yeah,
There are many levels of these things. We're all on a spectrum somewhere, and it's so easy to call out the big ones, like they're drunk, they're a drug addict, they
yeah,
gamble, there's
yeah.
those little things. But it's the ones that fly under the radar, like the overconsumption or overconsuming, you consume too much. And, I love that the call out there because I've been starting to, I have my vices. Like one is, we've talked, same thing. I get the dopamine hit from shopping and I've been really working on that and what that looks like. But I'll also call it out. I'm addicted to coffee. Like I literally wake up and if I cannot find it, like I could have $0 to my name and I think I would like sell my soul or something to
Yeah.
get coffee. Even during the hurricane, like the only reason I knew we were dying is because I was trying to find coffee. I've like made my husband drive into hell. Like we were dying, literally trees were everywhere, trying to drive over power lines for coffee. And
Coffee.
McDonald's was underwater, man. So like you obviously have a problem, but nobody is upset about it. You know what I mean? So
No,
just tying
no.
that back,
Yeah,
it's the call out. Like things aren't so black and white. And
no.
that really also plays back into judgment of you don't really know the full spectrum of it. I have a person in my life, and Tress and I were talking about it before we got on the podcast, and they're really struggling from their past relationships and they've gone through a lot of things. So, from a relationship perspective, and this is relationship as in a partnership, you know, um,
Yeah, like a romantic
Romant
relationship.
yeah, there we go. Thumbs up. A romantic relation. There you go.
You
I
got
couldn't
it.
think of the
Yeah,
word romantic
yeah,
I'm like, love was it just
yeah,
not coming. 9:35, it was not coming to me. But yes, romantic. So
yeah.
we're talking romantic relationships, and they have been very extreme. They've been, they went through a divorce, they went through an engagement ending, and it ended really abruptly. And but they haven't really worked through that by itself either. So there's a couple things happening. So that's one of them. And they're continuing to cast judgment on those people. You can hear the
Oh,
words.
their
They're still,
previous relationships.
yes, and they're
That
like
people.
living, yeah, and there's still aggression towards them. There's still they're holding
Anger.
on, anger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
way deep still in it. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
happening here. But the other thing they're going through is the judgmental program from the religious aspect of it. Like they really want to be this person, the version of them they think they want to be in, but they're too busy checking these boxes that they were programmed to check. And so then they
Right.
struggle. They struggle then with, like, okay, so I want to be this person, but then my religion's telling me that I can't do these things. But then I'm also still kind of mad because everything I've done based on the religion has led, in their belief, they checked the boxes and it led them to not good outcomes. The outcomes weren't there. Now, do I believe the religion made them do that? Absolutely not. I don't believe in that anyways. Do I believe maybe the intention was wrong the whole time they were moving through these things? Absolutely. I do think that that plays into it, but now they're holding anger towards the religion, towards the people, towards themselves. So they're holding on to all this stuff. But then they want to be a person that they can't be. That goes into one of the other things that we wanted to talk about is like the split energy of it. And
Mm-hmm.
having split energy is when like your desires and beliefs are out of alignment. So you want something, but you don't want to fully commit or fully believe you deserve it, or you aren't totally trusting that it's going to happen to you. So like again, with this person, they say they want love, but they might be afraid, and deep down they have the fear around vulnerability or an abandonment. And
Yeah.
that abandonment's definitely one of them for this individual. with the divorce and then the other relationship abruptly ending. And then another one that's really big and that I see happen all the time is they really are seeking a growth, whether it be spiritual or whatever that growth looks like as a person, but they're still attached to that old identity and they don't want to really change. You know, they're going through this change in their religious belief system, or their belief system in general. You know, they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
shift and they're still holding on to things, even though they have a lot of anger towards those things. And then another one, too, is like you desire clarity. So this person's
Mm-hmm.
desiring to know what to do next, know who to be with, know like where they should be or where they even should live. Like they're seeking a ton of things at this time, but they keep clinging on to the comfort in
Mm-hmm.
confusion and clinging on to being indecisive, that indecision. They're still
Mm-hmm.
there. And so, like, um, I saw this quote and it's like, it's not self sabotage, it's unintegrated energy. And I thought that was really interesting. You know, like, you say you want these things and you want this person and I desire this person, I'm manifesting whatever you want to call it. I want using whatever language you're using in your time, but your energy is so split. Like you're not
Yeah.
really living in your true identity, or things aren't really working out, things keep ending, or it's just this constant friction. But ultimately, this individual is so stuck on both sides, like living on the two sides of the fence or both sides of the fence because of judgment. And
Fear of judgment.
yeah, fear of judgment. And
Yeah.
they're not like even openly communicating. So then there's a whole nother level. There's suppressing, like they're suppressing all their emotions and their feelings
Yeah.
and their real desires. And so I was with them and like I was telling Tressa, they kept like locking eyes with me. Like, I mean, God, I would be like on the moon and they're like, I'm like, do you need something? And then finally they got me alone and then they started asking like questions and went into a dialogue. But ultimately, like I'm like, you can't, one, you can't live in fear of judgment, but two, you're just so split on this stuff. Like, it's not that dang black and white, man. Like, and it was crazy. I was even telling Tressa, like, it was so hard for me to even remember. Like, I'm like, damn, that shit don't matter to me. Like I was thinking like, whoa, I'm like way past that. Like, and it was just so like, I tried to put myself in his shoes in the moment. Cause I've been there. I've totally been there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't
Yeah.
even like I tried to feel it and I couldn't even feel it. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And so that came up too, like the fear of judgment, but then having the split energy because of being he was fearing being judged. And then like all of those things kind of just clustered into this. He's in a perfect storm right now, like really in his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. And probably he was seeking a little bit of validation, or
Yeah, for
you were a
sure.
safe space for him,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Where he could talk about some of the stuff that he needed to say, whatever that was, and
Yeah.
maybe not feel that
And he
somebody
was
was going to judge
dying.
him.
Yeah, he was like literally dying. You
Yeah.
could feel it. Like he was just
Yeah.
like, it was like, thank God, like he's like, oh, I know I can say these things to you. And most people do, because I really do try to live without judgment. Like, and I try
Yeah.
to seriously project, like, if anything, it's unanimously, you can tell me something and I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm going to be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. Like, so what do you want to do about it? Or how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
And so I've cultivated that dynamic for myself and
Right.
I know that I'm that for others. So I knew what was happening,
The
but
why.
the why, I totally
Hmm.
understand. But it was, this person's like literally in this internal struggle right
Yeah.
now with himself.
Yeah. And that's really unfortunate. I've seen that so many times, and that
Mhm.
if he stays in that split energy because of fear, right? His old belief structure holds fear
Mhm.
energy, right? Even though he's like, on one hand, I tried all of these things,
Mhm.
and my life sucked. And now I
Mhm.
don't want to try these things. But yet, if I don't do those things, that energy of like the old belief structure,
Mhm.
will I be accepted into heaven, or whatever they taught him?
Or
I don't know
whatever the
what it
hell it
is,
is. Yeah.
whatever the condition was. So there's that fear around it,
Mhm.
and the quicker that he can just embrace being whoever he needs to be in the moment, the faster things will start to manifest for him in the way
Mhm.
that he wants them to,
For
you know.
sure. Mhm.
But I mean, there's got to be some karmic energy playing out there too, and I don't
Mhm.
know if he can recognize that in any way.
Yeah.
But It's interesting. Like you said something like in that quote, I thought of like conviction is a force multiplier, right?
Mhm.
When you can just find yourself in such a state of conviction, like I am going to, in his situation, maybe release my religion or whatever it
Mhm.
was, or that belief structure. I'm going to embrace the new one. I'm not going to allow myself to hear what other people have to say, need their validation.
Mhm.
That level of conviction starts to move momentum so much faster.
Oh yeah.
And, we get more of who we are, not what we want to be. Who are you being in the moment,
Mhm.
right? Like I was thinking about this around manifestation, and we talked about the scale of consciousness last week
Mhm.
and the law of attraction, right?
Yep.
It's true. It's a true universal law. It does exist, right? It's the law of
Mhm.
manifestation. But you can never manifest something you don't have a vibrational match to. It's impossible. You
100%.
can't do it. Won't
Mhm.
happen. You can visualize it, vision boards, all the things.
Mhm.
It won't work. So, like, I thought about that, and I'm like, I've been working on this just this last week. So, don't know how this is going to be. Like feeling the energy, like feel the energy that you would want to feel in the situation, right?
Mhm.
So as I work with clients, and I've been on this journey on my own for myself too, money is one of the hardest things
Yeah.
for people energetically, because we've had all these old programmings around money.
Mhm.
Money doesn't grow on trees. You've got to work hard for all of these
Mhm.
ancestral and the collective conscious energy. And so just this last week, I thought, okay, I'm just going to feel what it feels like in my energy field if I had an unlimited supply of money. Just feel that energy. And
Mhm.
Mara, it's been hard for me to feel. I don't know. I don't even know how to feel it if I'm being honest. Like I've been
Mhm.
trying to do it, and then I'll go into my monkey mind, and instead of feeling the energy with myself, I'll see a big house or a car or something that's
Just
physical.
can't. It's physical.
It's physical. And so I'm going to keep working at it. It just shows a little more blockage that you have, right? Because
Mhm.
that's what we're programmed in society to. We associate these certain things, a big home, a big car, fancy, whatever, right?
Mhm.
With money. And that's where my energy went. And so
Yeah.
it was super interesting. I'm like, okay, this tells me something. There's still deep programming. So I need to start to feel what it would feel like. And so I did make a little bit of headway in the fact that if I had an unlimited supply of money and I felt like somebody needed something, I could gift it to them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not a physical thing that I
It's
have to
not.
have. So I've tried to really shift it. But it is something that I'm going to keep working with because it's harder than I ever thought it would
Mhm.
be. As the concept came into my mind, like, this is a piece of cake. Well, no, well, it wasn't for
No.
me.
No, and that's I love it. It's truly profound. I mean, honestly, like I think about, with my own life and situations and things that I've been going through, and it really does a lot of things just came up in my mind. And I'm with you 100%. I don't know if I could have ever felt that before. I really don't think I could have, because then your mind plays into it like, well, then I have to have this job to make that money. And
Yes,
then this person might play into that. Or do I need to get promoted? Or do I need to do this? Like anytime I've ever really truly tried, and I've really even tried to do the shadow work and the ancestral shit. And I mean, it's not shit. I'm
no,
just,
I get it.
you
Yeah,
know,
it's
it is.
layers to get
Yeah,
there.
there's
Yeah.
layers you got to peel through, right? And seriously, and like I have analyzed and thought, and I mean, and honestly, I have to, and here's another thing too. I have to feel with where I'm at because I am manifesting and I have reached a level and I've been reaching levels that people before me have not. So obviously something is changing and shifting.
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
believe in that. And I do believe that I can, and I think you probably agree here too. A lot of this, I believe I'm breaking a lot of karmic cycles right now, and I'm breaking a lot of generational cycles and ancestral belief systems. That is true generational wealth that I have always been trying to achieve. A lot of it, I believe, is doing the work. And then it will come, and I have to do the work. I am the person that needs to do the work. And what I've been going through, what's crazy is when I truly surrendered, when I try to feel the feeling, it ties into the freedom, feeling
Mm-hmm.
free. Like I
Yes.
associate it to freedom. It's not even an object anymore. I don't think of a house anymore. Like, no, I'm not like freaking profound here. I'm not the
Yeah.
one.
No, I
I
get
still
it.
have
Yeah.
moments of denial
Yeah.
because a lot of it's worthiness too. Like a lot of things around
Mm-hmm.
money is worthiness. And so like sometimes I get, a little wonky with it, but it's been once I've been living my true self without judgment, letting it all fucking go, I can actually feel the feelings. I can feel the feelings when I couldn't feel them before. And it's starting to just really kind of roll. And I think that this is part of it. Like I had to do this. I had to strip, like literally, like I visualize stripping down. You have to strip it all down. The
Yeah.
layers have to come completely off. The facade, the shadow, whatever the hell it is, gotta go.
Yeah.
And, and because a lot of the things we hold on to is because we're afraid to be judged by others. Like, well, why is she doing that when she does this? Or what the hell's going on here? Or why are they making these
Sure.
decisions? Or why did you buy that? Or, oh, you got a Porsche? Oh, you got a Jaguar? Oh, you got this? You got this house? You
Yeah.
bought that? Then there's more judgments. You know what I mean? And so it goes back to, maybe listener land will like my spiritual message here, but unlike the person on the phone, but about a month ago when I was in the thick of things, I did the lady shared the message with me that she just really saw this alligator that was just wading through like shitty, muddy waters. It wasn't scary. It was just peaceful. And, alligators are very primal. They're very protective. And so like its eyes were above the water. So it was like physically just being alert, which I don't even need to look up the meaning. I did, but I don't need to like interpret. I know what that means. I was on alert. I was still wading through shit, still like not fully, I was at peace, but I wasn't fully like out in the open,
Out in the open.
happy,
Yeah.
blah, 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 right?
You weren't sunning yourself yet. Yeah.
No, girl, but guess what? Bring the sun because then I went Wednesday. And when it ended, she's like, hey, I just have to tell you, when this ended, all I could see was a frog sitting on a lily pad with its eyes closed, just feeling the sun.
Oh, wow.
You didn't even know what
That's
the
awesome.
next
I
shit
didn't even
was about
know.
to be.
Yeah, I
No!
did not.
So
No.
tell me my
So
generic
cool.
ass shit isn't real, okay?
Look at this.
I know.
That's
Isn't
so
like
cool.
I have
Yeah.
chills. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
like you're right. You're
Mhm.
exactly right. And when she said it, she's like, the frog was very peaceful, very peaceful. And its eyes were closed, and it was just like literally feeling the sun on its face.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, but with the lily pad was a big lotus flower. And she said, I just have to tell you, the lotus was just huge, like the impression that it gave her. She's like, it was just really big, like, I got to call it out because it was like, boom, right here.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of there's tadpoles, associated transformation, the sun, feeling the sun.
Yeah.
Obviously, you go from a primal creature that's lurking in the shit to being out in the open. Like there is a whole level of ways to interpret this without even, I don't need to look up. And even like lotus flowers bloom in like really shitty water, right? They transform in,
Yeah.
there you go. So she's like, it was the same kind of water, but now the frog's on top living its best life, and it was just super happy and joyful.
Yeah.
Like,
And, like,
hello,
the lotus, I always associate the lotus to your crown because like the crown chakra has like, I always imagine my crown chakra as a lotus flower with 1,000 chambers opening. And it's, you've been talking about your own spiritual path. Well, that you have to have your crown chakra open, really open to have that transformation in a spiritual way. So it makes a lot of sense. It's really cool.
I'm glad you agree with it.
I mean, why didn't you call me? Why are you telling this?
I should have. Well, that's what I'm saying. I should have.
I want to hear you.
Well, I should have, but like it was such a cool experience because I mean it was a month apart.
Yeah.
And it's totally true. And the sun has its own associations. I mean, there's a whole level.
Yes.
It's a representation of myself, my spirituality. Like I'm transforming as a person. I'm transforming, and my spirituality is expanding. I'm changing, and I'm out in the sun. I'm out in the open. I'm at a place of peace. Like the joy that I'm feeling in my life right now is unmatched. Like we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about peaks of
Yeah.
heaven and hell. I went through hell, but I had to strip down with letting go of judgment, right? And look, like, hello, I mean, it's beautiful. Like, I mean, and I feel it, like, and it's that peace and that the clarity, and things are so smooth in my life. Like, well, that wasn't that bad, or like, I went through a period of waiting for a shoe to drop. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
where you're, but, we talked about, my vibration is so much different. It's expanding. I feel completely different, but I let go of the judgment. And it's really helped me too, because when I talk to people and people ask questions, and again, I really don't like living in, what happens or what I'm choosing to do, because you keep things alive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to keep shit alive. Like, it's done, it's over, I'm moving on. And, if people ask questions or whatever they're trying to navigate, I'm like, honestly, it's not for you to worry about. I'm doing
Yeah.
amazing. That's all you need to know. Like, it's cool. But it really helped change my mind around, like, wow, I totally freaking hardcore judge people around what they did with their money or what they didn't do with their money, what they did with their jobs or career, whatever. You know what I mean? And it's
Yes.
really helped me to like let go of a lot of judgments and be like, man, because you just, we did a episode on our old podcast with the lady, and it was one of my favorite episodes. And she said something like, we're always one life event away from something, that could change. Oh, here we go again. That can change our lives, like
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like for some people, it's a natural disaster. That could be the life
Yes.
event away from
Yeah.
your life changing, a loss of a job, relocation, a death. Who knows?
Who knows?
And I loved that quote, and I love that episode, because it's really around judgment. We weren't in a spiritual space, but that conversation really was around judgment. And it was
Yes.
letting go of judgment of others, and your preconceived ideas of what you think are happening in people's lives. And then really being selfless and, um, like being selfless is in how can you help serve? Like, what can you do to help? Like, what does it mean? Whether it's connecting people with a resource or connecting people to whatever they need in their lives, whatever that might be,
Mhm.
instead of sitting there and judging them and then berating them and then questioning their lives. And so, that's always just kind of stuck with me, even past that episode.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. I forgot about that until you said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you should tell your friend that was talking to you about this, struggle that he's on. He should sit in the energy of what does it feel like to have a relationship? If he can
Mhm.
start to get there, he'll find
Yeah.
the right person.
Hmm.
And I truly believe, like, when you trust yourself and you're on the right path, one of the things I ask for almost every day is, what is my next step? Just take me to my next step. I don't need to be at the finish line. What's my next best step?
Hmm.
And when things unfold with ease and grace, I know I'm doing the right thing.
Hmm.
If things start to get hard, I know I'm trying to force something,
Hmm.
right? And it just never works out. At
No.
least you might make it
Not
work
for
for a little
me.
bit, but it
I've
doesn't
got a
work long term,
laundry
folks.
list of shit
Yeah,
that didn't.
yeah. I mean, and I think the universe is always giving us signs. Like this woman that you found has given you these visions,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just giving you confirmation. And it was last week, I don't know why, I was just like, every day when I was doing my prayer meditation, I kept asking for miracles every day.
Hmm.
And so I was walking my dog up here on the hill that I walk all the time. And we're cruising along, and I look up, and about 20 yards away, there's a fox just looking at me. And for Myra knows this, my spirit animal is a
Hmm.
fox. I've known this for years. And it just locked eyes with me. And I felt like we just looked at each other for what seemed like forever. It was
Hmm.
probably 20 seconds, but
Yeah.
it did not run away right away. Okay.
Hmm.
So then it takes off, and I hear it chirp and bark or whatever foxes do. And then I can hear little baby foxes.
Oh.
So it has babies. So I was like, oh my gosh. Well, I didn't know where they were, and I didn't want to disturb them. So I turned around, came back. Well, then 2 days later, I was walking up there, and I see the fox up on a haystack up there, on top of it, just walking back and forth. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So every night I've been seeing this fox. So then 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, I can't remember. Go up there. It's up there, and then the 2 little baby foxes. So
Aw,
every
how
time I get to
cute.
go up there, I get a miracle every day.
Yeah.
Because it is a miracle to me. It was like a little sign,
Oh,
just
that's
like
so
this
cool.
confirmation. And it's been so fun to just watch her and watch the little babies. And it was just wild how she just looked in my eyes. It was just like we just locked eyes for a good 20 seconds, I bet. And it was almost like my dog is good, but he was off leash. And I don't even know if he saw the fox.
Yeah.
He didn't even seem aware
Yeah.
of it,
Oh,
you
that's
know?
awesome. No, that's so fun. And like that's the thing, you had no expectation. Like I don't have an
No.
expectation. I'm going to get a damn massage ultimately. Like I
Yeah.
am not booking a spiritual session with this lady. Now, is she multifaceted? You bet it. But like I'm going for body work. Do I leave some house? And it's amazing because there's no expectation. You have no expectation of seeing your spirit animal. You just ask for a miracle.
Yes,
And you've
I
been
did.
given that, and it came with, you didn't have to hunt it down and like beg
Yeah.
for it to appear. You know what I mean? Like it's showing up for you the way that the universe needs it to show up for you.
Well, and I think that's what the beauty of allowing breath is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I would have said, I want X, Y, and Z to happen for a miracle,
Mm-hmm.
I'm narrowing everything down, right? All I
Mm-hmm.
asked for is a miracle. Just want a little miracle today. And, so you're open to whatever. And then you start to recognize it. And I was so, like, I was so joyful. Like, I had so much gratitude. I just, like, had tears of joy. It just
That's
made
awesome.
me so excited. And it was beautiful. And now I get to see the little guys grow
I love
and hang
that.
out. So, yeah,
That's so
it's awesome.
fun. I
Yeah.
only saw a skunk mama and her babies. So I don't know.
Oh,
Peppy with you.
what's your spirit animal?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
Probably the cricket or the cockroach. I'm just kidding. I really don't know my spirit animal. I should dig into that. But no, but I
Yeah.
love that though. Like that's really, it's a beautiful thing. And I would like to see fox and their babies instead, but I saw the skunk and the mama.
Yeah.
It was cool as
Skunks are
hell, but it
cute,
was really
though.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like their tails they were all white
Yeah.
and I never saw that. I've never
Cute.
like,
Yeah, I had no idea.
I don't Google the skunks, or
Yeah.
like I don't like, not many of us are lurking for the skunk.
So, challenge listener land this next week, after you hear this episode, ask for a little miracle every day and see what comes your way.
Yeah.
I would love to have you share in the
Mhm.
comments what your little miracles are. Because I believe when you ask, you always
You
receive.
receive
You
100%.
always receive. It's just sometimes you are locking yourself into a box on what you want to receive. So
Exactly.
you don't see it. Yeah. So, and recognize your judgments
Yep.
because you cannot shift what you don't recognize. You
Mhm.
can't change it. Impossible. So that's my 2 cents for this week.
I love it.
All right. Well, until next time, keep your vibrations way high.
And stay sassy.